Kent State crime showed a huge decrease since 2020. What caused the shift in reporting crimes?
A GOP bill was put on hold by Speaker Bob Cupp after concerns about its ability to pass. Find out how this affects you.
The Ohio State Highway Patrol seized an expensive amount of marijuana, the charges the suspect is facing.
The city of Sleepy Hollow is giving people something to talk about with their massive Halloween celebration.
This is TV2 News.
To Portage County, thank you for choosing us for your Wednesday news. I'm Erin Sullivan.
And I'm Olivia Sharp.
KSU police responded to a report of sexual harassment on campus last evening.
Our own Jason Cohen has more on the incident. Hi, Jason.
Kent State Police are seeking the public's help in finding a man who is reported to have inappropriately touched another man in an elevator at the Mathematical Sciences building on the Kent campus. The man and the suspect entered the elevator around 12:30 p.m. Monday, where the man says the suspect put his hand on his buttocks before departing the elevator on another floor. The incident was reported to police on Tuesday. The suspect is described as a white man in his mid to late 20s, 6 feet tall, over 200 pounds, with glasses and wearing a teal shirt. Anyone with information should contact the Kent State Police at 330-672-3070. Police are increasing their patrols in the area of the incident. Kent State Police have also said that a safety escort service is available by calling 330-672-7004. Kent State released its annual fire and safety report for 2020. Kent State University experienced a 23% decrease in overall crime. The drastic decrease was due to the lack of people on campus in the midst of the pandemic. Liquor law violations on campus dropped from 159 in 2018 to only 17 in 2020, according to the report. Drug abuse violations are also down significantly from 132 in 2018 to 11 in 2020. Rape cases decreased as well. There were 15 rape cases reported in 2018, 7 in 2019, and 4 in 2020. Only one crime category increased from 2019 to 2020. Motor vehicle thefts rose from 0 in 2019 to 3 in 2020. 3 golf carts that someone took on a joyride on 3 separate occasions, according to Tricia Knowles, Community Resource Officer for Kent State University Police Services. But they were later recovered, undamaged, in other parts of campus. The biggest challenge in 2020 and continuing in 2021 has been mental health issues. Knowles said students 18 to 23 tend to face mental health challenges like anxiety and depression, and the pandemic has exacerbated those issues. If students are experiencing these issues, they can visit the Counseling and Psychological Services website at kent.edu/CAPS. Reporting from the Franklin Hall studio, I'm Jason Cohen, TV2 News.
Kent State saw a 4% increase in enrollment for the fall 2021 semester. This new class of 2025 is breaking records with an all-time high average GPA of 3.5. An increase in enrollment has been a growing trend for universities across Ohio as they get back to in-person classes. Kent State says they are working to meet returning students' needs.
Kent State announced that starting in the 2022 spring semester, professors who have in-person classes cannot choose to teach the course online. Since the pandemic hit, professors have been given the opportunity to make their classes virtual to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Now, professors will not have that option. If the class is in person, it must be taught that way.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're all having an amazing day. As we move into this week, you're going to notice that the fall temperatures are finally catching up with us. But how are things looking right now in Kent? So as you're going to notice, things are looking pretty nice right now. Very low chance of rain, 72 degrees, and tons of sun to go around. So overall, it is looking really great. But enjoy the sun and the clear skies while you can, because things aren't going to stay that way. And as we move forwards here, you're going to notice towards into this evening here, the temperatures are going to drop pretty drastically, 72 all the way down to 63 at 8 o'clock p.m. And the clouds are going to start rolling in, partly cloudy. And then as we move into midnight here, it's going to drop all the way down to 58. That's a pretty drastic change in the span of just short amount of time. And then the chance of precipitation is going to increase just slightly. But overall, things are looking pretty nice for this evening. And then let's take a look at the Northeast Ohio temperatures here, shall we? So up here in Cleveland, things are looking pretty chilly overall, you know, because they're next to the lake there. So things are looking pretty cold. But then as we move down south here towards Worcester, Canton, 53, 56, and 55 in Mansfield. So overall, the temperatures are looking pretty, you know, steady all across Northeast Ohio here. But overall, not bad at all. And that's all for me for right now. Stay tuned for your statewide and weekly temperatures. Back to you guys at the desk.
House Bill 244, which prevents public schools from requiring mandatory vaccinations, went into effect Wednesday. The new law states that any public school or college cannot require anyone to receive a vaccine that has not been fully approved by the FDA. The bill also notes that schools cannot discriminate against students who have not received the vaccine by making them do activities that are different from those who are vaccinated.
A GOP bill made to restrict employers' ability to require their employees to receive the COVID-19 vaccine has been placed on hold. Ohio House Speaker Bob Cupp put the controversial bill on pause this afternoon. His decision was followed by an announcement that implied the bill had little chance of passing in its current state. Other matters concerning vaccine mandates were put into effect today after the House made it illegal to require mandatory vaccinations in public schools. And having a hard time finding your favorite snacks at the grocery store? Well, economists say it's likely going to stay here for a while. And which famous actor broke the record for the oldest man to go into space? The answer might make you see stars when TV2 returns in about 2 minutes.
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it.
Families don't have to talk about everything, but they should talk about how to plan for an emergency. Get tips and resources to make your family's emergency plan.
What to expect when you're expecting
Like here.
a teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to teen-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey. I'm ready for the...
Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
The inherent right to work is one of the elemental privileges of a free people. Endowed, as our nation is, with abundant physical resources, and inspired as it should be, with the high purpose to make those resources and opportunities available for the enjoyment of all. We approach this problem of reemployment with the real hope of finding a better answer than we have now.
The Ohio State Highway Patrol seized $50,000 worth of marijuana in a traffic stop. Troopers in Madison County stopped Fawaz Al-Zaid for following too closely. The troopers searched the vehicle and found a loaded handgun and 2.5 pounds of marijuana. They also found a receipt for a storage unit where they found an additional 7.5 pounds of marijuana. Al-Zaid faces up to 4 years in prison and $15,000 in fines if convicted.
The suspect who allegedly shot an Akron teen to death in the driver's seat of his car was arrested after a long standoff with police. Police say the suspect was most likely inside the car when the victim was shot. The standoff lasted 4 hours after the suspect barricaded themselves inside a home on Russell Avenue. The suspect and victim have not been identified and charges are pending.
The Ohio Bureau of Motor Vehicles launched BMV Express, a self-serve kiosk where drivers can get new vehicle registration or renew their license plates. The BMV says the average transaction should only take 2 minutes. There are 9 kiosks across Ohio. There are 4 in Meyer and 3 around the Columbus area. The only one in Northeast Ohio is located at the BMV on Court Street in Medina.
Welcome back, everyone. Let's move out here and take a look at these statewide temperatures, shall we? So, as you can see, the temperatures are looking pretty stable all across the state. We're actually expecting temperatures to actually be quite warmer than this at this current time, but overall things are looking pretty normal all across the state here. And as we move into the radar here, you're going to notice things are looking very clear in Ohio. It's looking great. Although, like I mentioned earlier, we are going to have some precipitation that's going to be coming in here from Indianapolis and this area over here towards the west, and that is eventually going to make its way towards Ohio. So even though things are looking very clear right now, just keep in mind that we are going to have some more rain coming here in the future. And speaking of rain, let's move into the 7 days. So as you're going to notice, temperatures are looking very nice. 70, low 70s right now, although across Thursday and Friday, that's actually going to rise to the low 80s. But as you can see, that warm weather is going to be accompanied with some rain, isolated thunderstorms on Friday there, and then things are going to cool down as we move into the weekend to the low 60s. Pretty drastic drop there with still a little bit of sun, but then thankfully as we move into the end of the week here and the start of next week, the clouds are going to roll all the way, the skies are going to clear, and we're going to have tons and tons of sun. So the end of the week's looking really great out there. Take advantage of the warm weather while you can. And this has been Michael Vicario, your Wednesday newscast weather anchor. To keep up with all things Kent weather, check out KentWire.com. Stay safe out there. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Michael. The global train supply that stocks supermarkets is raising prices and slowing down economic recovery. CNN's Britt Conway reports on how President Biden is expected to meet with the heads of large U.S. shipping ports that have had issues with shipping goods.
From the grocery store to the gas station, the supply chain crisis is jacking up prices and slowing down economic recovery.
It means not only higher prices, but it's going to take you longer to get deliveries.
Economists blame COVID.
It all goes back to the pandemic. I mean, the pandemic has disrupted all markets.
We're seeing that as we reopen the economy and demand surged, firms haven't been able to keep up.
But supply and demand are only part of the issue.
It's partly because of factory shutdowns in China driven by Delta variant outbreaks, or now emissions targets requiring factories to shut down. On the U.S. side, the issue is much more with labor, so there's a shortage of longshore workers and truckers to actually get stuff off of shipping containers and into stores onto shelves.
Dozens of cargo ships are idling at 2 of the biggest ports in the U.S.
There are more ships than there are parking spots. We are effectively operating a cell phone waiting lot in the Pacific Ocean.
Today, President Joe Biden plans to seek solutions when he meets with the heads of those ports and their workers' union, along with some large private sector companies. But Moody's Analytics warns there are dark clouds ahead, in part because there's no global effort to ensure the smooth operation of the worldwide logistics and transportation network. And that could mean a bumpy road ahead for at least the next few months.
And we got a cold winter dead ahead, and it's going to be financially painful for people.
I'm Britt Conway reporting.
William Shatner boarded the Blue Origin to go boldly where no man had gone before. Well, at least no one his age. Shatner became the oldest person to go to space at 90 after taking a trip through the cosmos in a rocket from Jeff Bezos' private spaceflight company. The Star Trek actor lifted off in Texas for the brief 10-minute flight, which he described as, quote, the most profound experience I can imagine.
Netflix reinstated the worker who spoke out against Dave Chappelle. Tara Field was suspended after protesting due to Chappelle's anti-trans remarks during a quarterly meeting. Netflix investigated the incident and found that Field had every right to be in attendance and has reinstated her along with 2 other employees.
The U.S. is reopening Canadian and Mexican borders to fully vaccinated visitors. CNN's Chris Nguyen reports on how the U.S. is taking small steps on recovering from the pandemic.
More progress on the COVID-19 front as America prepares to reopen its borders with Canada and Mexico to fully vaccinated visitors.
It's important news for our country, for our economy.
Starting in early November, inbound foreign travelers by land and ferry will be able to visit for non-essential reasons. The United States now set to welcome tourists and separated family members who have been shut out of the country since March of 2020, returning a sense of normality.
There have been many meetings with the goal of achieving the reopening of the border, and at the same time we decided to vaccinate in the border areas to help bring about this agreement.
The decision by the Biden administration marks a new phase in the recovery from the pandemic following guidance by the CDC. Communities along America's northern and southern borders already looking forward to a much-needed economic boost.
We are trading partners, we are friends, and for the first time in 19 months, we are going to be reunited to generate all that economic activity again.
The U.S. also plans to lift a similar restriction on travelers from overseas in January, a ban that has impacted thousands of people, to all inbound foreign nationals.
We want to get to that fully reopened state as quickly as we responsibly can, but it's always first going to be guided by doing what's right to beat this pandemic.
In Washington, I'm Chris Nguyen.
Vice President Harris is helping teens reach for the stars in a new YouTube special. Details coming up.
And last night, 2 playoff clinchers happened in baseball. Find out who is moving on next.
I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
What are you doing in there? What's that?
I wouldn't do that. What are you doing? What are you looking for?
Hey Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry, I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
And now, your TV2 Sports Report.
Good evening, Portage County. I'm Matt Corrali, your Wednesday night sports anchor, and here's what's happening in the world of sports. The Kent State women's golf team competed in the Island Eye Women's Invitational this past Monday and Tuesday in Medina, Illinois. Senior Emily Price came away from the tournament finishing in first amongst all golfers as she carded a 10-under, shooting a 206, tying for the third lowest 54-hole total in program history in just her second career win. As a team, the Golden Flashes finished in sixth, tying with host Illinois, carding a 6-under and shooting an 858. The Golden Flashes will compete on Sunday and Monday in the Jim West Challenge hosted by the University of North Texas, broadcasting live on ESPN+. Yesterday, Game 4 of the American League Division Series took place in the south side of Chicago as the White Sox, who have their backs against the wall, hosted the Houston Astros, who are one win away from their 5th consecutive trip to the American League Championship Series. Who will come out on top? Let's head to the highlights to find out. We pick it up bottom 2. This is Gavin Sheets, the DH, going deep off Lance McCullers. Back goes Jake Myers at the wall. He leaps. It is gone. It's Sheets' first home run of the postseason as he has the south side of Chicago rocking 1-0 White Sox. We'll then go to the top of the 3rd. Carlos Rodon facing Carlos Correa. Bases loaded, 2 outs, 2 strikes, doesn't matter. There's a line drive to left field as Altuve scores. Right behind him is Alex Bregman, and the Astros lead for the first time today, 2-1. And you can see Correa say, yeah, it's my time. Then in the 4th, Alex Bregman hits one into deep left center field on a 3-0 pitch. He got the green light. That will score Martin Maldonado. Altuve is hustling right behind him. He will score, and the Astros go on top 5-1. They tack on 5 more runs to win it by the final score of 10-1 as they are heading for their 5th consecutive American League Championship Series as they will face the Boston Red Sox. And in the National League, the Atlanta Braves found themselves up 2-1 on their home field against a Brewers team, trying to send the series back to Milwaukee. Will the Braves take command of their home field and advance to the National League Championship Series? Or will the Brewers get a huge road victory and send the series back to Wisconsin? Let's go to the highlights and see. There's Trust Park, the setting for that NLDS Game 4 ball game. And in the 4th, this is Omar Narvaez lining one the opposite way into left center field. Avisail Garcia's hits third, and he will try for the plate. Here's the throw to home. It's going to be close, and Garcia is safe. It is 1-0 Milwaukee. In the bottom half, bases loaded. Eddie Rosario with 2 away sends one into center field. Austin Riley will score from 3rd. Here comes Travis d'Arnaud right behind him, and the Braves tie it at 2, just like that. However, in the 5th, Rowdy Tellez spoils the fun as he hits one all the way deep, dead center field. This one's going to land in the forest. It's 4-2 Milwaukee. Then in the home half, a 4-3 score. This is Travis d'Arnaud grounding one past Tellez in the right field. That will score Riley from 3rd, and back and forth we go in Atlanta. We're tied at 4. In the 8th, Freddie Freeman, the heart and soul of the Braves, the longest tenure Brave on the roster, and he hits one deep and gone to give Atlanta a 5-4 lead in the bottom of the 8th. Then in the 9th, Will Smith trying to slam the door. He strikes out Christian Yelich looking. Ball game. The 88-win Atlanta Braves advance to the NLCS and will await either the Giants or the Dodgers. And that's all I have for sports. Man, you gotta love October baseball, don't you? For more TV2 sports coverage, make sure to tune into Sports Corner every Monday night at 8, live streaming right here on KentWire.com.
Kamala Harris is taking that leap to space. Well, not quite. What the VP has in store for teens in space, though, when TV2 returns.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Or maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all. If I could go back, I would. But I can't.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made her college years happen. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading a campus tour. And another, and another, and another, and another. Bam! Deciphering financial aid. She was like, what? And now she's like, you aced planning for college. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Wizard, roll for deceasedness.
My Dark Wizard casts Super Fireball.
The wizard has only rolled an 8.
What? This is garbage! Spell.
No way a roll like that doesn't hit a level 1.
I have 7.
You gotta be.
Oh my god! What is going on?
Cease your quarreling, children.
What?
No! What are you doing, you crazy monster?
Nanny?
Oh my
What?
You should stop being nerds and playing D&D and be nerds and watch All Systems Go Wednesdays at 9, where we talk everything from movies, games to anime and more.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Go watch All Systems Go.
They call me Prince like I'm royalty or something. But the places I've lived ain't no palaces. So I don't need grilled salmon or a new scratching post. Just give me a cardboard box and a can of tuna and we're good. You can even change my name. I'm cool being the kitty formerly known as Prince.
Back in full swing since the pandemic started, and Sleepy Hollow, New York is wide awake in celebration. More than 7,000 jack-o'-lanterns have lit up the town to celebrate the legend of Spooky Hollow and the Headless Horseman. All pumpkins have been constructed into large statues, including the Statue of Liberty, fire trucks, giant dragons, and even the famous bridge that was in the story of the Headless Horseman. In 2019, the event attracted over 200,000 people.
Getting Curious with Vice President Kamala Harris is a new YouTube Kids special that wants to get kids interested in space. Harris teams up with astronaut Shane Kimbrough, who is broadcasting from the International Space Station. It also features 5 teen actors from across the country. The kids had an opportunity to visit the Naval Observatory in D.C. before they sat down with the head of the Space Council, Vice President Kamala Harris.
And that about wraps up our coverage for this Wednesday evening. Thank you so much for joining us.
For more, you can find us on KentWire.com and at KentWired on all socials. TV2 will not have any programming tomorrow and Friday, so try not to miss it. It's too bad. I'm Olivia Sharp.
And I'm Erin Sullivan. Have a great fall break, Portage County. Queen.
Can we get strawberries? Okay.
We'd do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 6 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.